Right, hello everyone. I'm just going to do another video today just about my the trades that I'm keeping an eye on for the coming week. I just wanted to discuss what I'm looking at, what I'm hoping I'll be able to get on this week, and also I'm just going to go through the current trades that I have open at the moment. Right, let me just get my notes. Right, before we begin, I'd just like to say that nobody, and I mean nobody, should copy any of these trades, because I'm just a little shithead and I don't really know. I'm far from being a profitable trader, so just save your money and your sanity and don't copy any of these for anybody who's watching. But anyway, here we go. Right, first off, I just want to look at, let me just get my chart up. I'm looking at, from an indices point of view, I like to look at the Russell. Now, I do think, got a bit of reaction. I do think that all the indices, yesterday when I went through all the charts, were looking decent. I would like to look at the Nasdaq, the S&P, the Dow, and the Russell, excuse me. But I actually liked the Dow, the Russell more. Now, the zone that I'm in at the moment, looking on the weekly, is this here, marked out. And I've actually set me alert a little bit lower, just here at the 2,300 mark. Now if we come lower here on the daily, so this is the weekly, what I tend to do is I will find the zone on the weekly and then I will drill down and look and try and enter on the daily. Now if I'm being conservative, which I'm trying to do during this chat until I've passed the challenge, I will not take any trade that is not covered on the weekly with a weekly zone. It's just I'm not good enough at the moment. What to become better then, that would be more of a consideration for me. So anyway, here we go. I'm covered by the weekly zone just here, which I feel like is nice. And then if we drill down, that zone is actually, this weekly zone is this here, this zone on the daily. So on the daily, look, we have a nice zone here, and then a really nice explosive candle outwards. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Now for me, when it looks at the leg out of the zone, I'm looking for one explosive candle or three decisive candles. That's my criteria. So where we have the lovely exploding candle, and I'm just going to get rid of this one here, don't need that. So yeah, when it comes to the Russell, this is what I'm looking at roughly the 2,300 mark, and then I will look to engage. I will only engage if, this is what I like to use here when it comes to stocks, indices. This tool here is the valuation tool. Let me just expand this for you guys. So this is short term, 13 days, and this is 30 days. Now what I do is, during an uptrend, if I want to get on board, I tend to focus more on the 13 days. Now if I get this confirmation on the 13 and the 30, even better. But if I'm on an uptrend, what I do when I'm looking to get involved is when, see this here, the green line, that will be undervalued, above the red line's overvalued, so I want to be getting involved here, or potentially, sorry, over here. Let me see, where's the other one? Here. Let's do another one. So during an uptrend, I would want to get on. I want to be seeing an undervalue signal. So yeah, so it is quite accurate. And then once we got that signal, then I'm looking to try and jump on with a supply and demand zone. Now I will not jump on without being in a zone. So yeah, I need both. So this is just a signal of a potential trade, and then I need to have a nice quality zone to jump on. So what we'll find, as you can see right now, we're not even close to being undervalued, but as the price comes down into a zone, then that is when this price will actually, this signal will come down to the green. Now let me see what the zones I've got marked out. And so, oh yeah, like I said before, so if this price can pull back to this zone just here, this valuation will definitely come down. Hopefully in the zone that we want. Just be undervalued, sorry. Right, the next one I marked out yesterday was Bitcoin. But the thing is, this morning, last night, this morning, Bitcoin made a move to the upside. So Bitcoin the other day was just almost undervalued. It's been undervalued on the long-term 30-day valuation tool for quite a long time. It does look like we're on a little bit of a downtrend at the moment. On the daily chart. Let's check. Like on the weekly, clear uptrend. Yeah, look, we got, let me see. High, hello. High, hello. Now, my thinking was, this zone I've marked out here on the weekly chart was roughly around the 97k mark. And my thinking was, it's like nice, beautiful, explosive candle on the weekly out of the zone. So what I'm thinking is, it looks like we've got maybe we got the reaction last week's candle. But yeah, what I'm thinking is if the price can come down and come into this zone here, we're going to get another come up a move to the upside. So that again was the high low, high low, high low. That's my thinking. But we have had a little move today, so maybe that's the end of that. But on the daily, as you can see, a little head and shoulders here. Look, we've got the shoulder, head, come down. Yeah, but that is sort of looking a bit bearish, a little bit more bearish now on the daily. But I'm showing more. This is what I focus on the most, the weekly. Now, for the time being, I would class that as an uptrend. So yeah, so that's, I'm looking at Bitcoin. So the price will come to 97k. Meta. I've just actually jumped on Meta before Meta. Let me just explain me thinking on this one. So with Meta, as you can see on the valuation tool, Meta's been undervalued now on the 13 days since the 30th of October. It just continued to be undervalued. This is after this drop here. That's when the annual report come in soft. Again, when you look at on the 30 day, it's been undervalued for quite a long time. It's not performing very well on the daily, as you can see. It's actually a lower high. So yeah, I would say that on the daily, that's in a downtrend now. But let me just switch it to on the weekly though. It's an uptrend still. But look, as we can see, there was a gap here. So I was thinking that gap might be filled, which it has been by this candle here. So the gap's been filled. I've sort of, it's not the cleanest zone because of the gap, but I've marked this out as a zone. So last week's candle, we did come into the zone and got a bit of a reaction to come out. So again, my thinking is we got the higher low here, and then for another higher low here, continuation of the uptrend. So that's the reaction there. So on the daily, let me explain. Yeah, I had a number of zones, gap filled, a gap marked out here. It hasn't actually come down to fill that, but it did fill this gap here on the daily, and I've marked this zone out here. We got the move in last week on the Friday with this. The reason I got in today is because of this candle on the daily from Friday. That's a hammer candle. Looks like that is maybe a bullish hammer candle. So the price, we got the sellers down here, and then it's whipped back up to form a bullish hammer candle. So I'm hoping for a run to the upside. Now, how I've actually marked this trade out and got in is I've just marked out the bullish the hammer candle here, and I placed my stop loss just under the hammer candle. So that's how I've entered that trade. One thing that is a little bit is this here. We formed the gap, which the price, so the price is probably gonna, it could whip back, cover this gap, and then take back off. That's what I'm hoping. Let's see how the trade's going. It's down slightly at the moment, but one thing I have done with that, because I'm on the AT&T trade, I got 2%, $2,000 on the AT&T trade. I didn't really want to go super long on the Meta, sorry. So if I put another 2% on that, then I don't know, that's 4% just on two stocks. I know what it takes is a certain tweet off Donald Trump, or I don't know, a certain piece of financial data comes out and boom, I've lost 4% of me balance. So I've just gone took a little bit more conservative. So I've got 1% on Meta, $1,000, and also I've got the 2K on AT&T. So what's the other one? Pfizer. I've got Pfizer marked out. See, can't remember why I picked this one. Now Pfizer isn't actually undervalued at the moment, as you can see. So what I'm thinking is if it can pull back a little bit more, I'm hoping that these can come into the thereabouts of the undervalued territory. So let me see Pfizer. So let me get the weekly up. Right, on the weekly charts, like I said, I like to have a zone on the weekly. Otherwise, I'm just not engaging. So as we can see here, we have a nice, an indecisive candle here, in this zone, and then we got an absolute major explosive candle here. Look at that, beautiful. That's exactly what we want. I would say the only thing that's concerning here is the price has come back and it's just sort of like just lingering around the zone. So we have actually entered the zone here. So I'm hoping for like a nice move. So let's look at the daily. So this is that zone on the weekly drilled into the daily, sorry. So yeah, we've got a couple of indecisive candles and then an absolutely rocket, two candles, that's explosive. We do have a gap, but as you can see, it's sort of, this isn't great, this bit here, all these little like stair stepping down slowly. But you know, I've set an alert. I've set an alert anyway. So once I come into this zone, I'll see how I feel, and then I'll make a decision on whether I'm going to long this stock. Also, it will depend on whether I'm still in the AT&T and Meta trade. But we will see. Pfizer, I think looks okay. One thing I will say is we've got two zones here on the daily. We've got the first zone here, and then the second zone just here below. So what I call them is level on top of level. So I will sort of combine the zone, and what I will do is, if this was just this zone here on its own, I would set my alert to the top of this indecisive candle, which would roughly be nearly $24. So, but what I'm doing, because it's a level, a combined level, what I tend to do is I would just set my alert to the very top, even with the wick of the the last candle in this zone, which is here. So the alert is actually at 23.70 instead of 23.86. So there's not much in it, but yeah. So that's my alert for Meta. Pfizer, sorry. One trade. One thing I'm really looking at, I'm really tempted to get involved in, is cocoa. Now, with cocoa, my fundamental analysis is a little bit different. So with commodities, metals, and things like that and that nature, I use the COT data. Now, one thing that I will say right now is that the US government is on a lockdown right now. So the COT data, is blind for about the last 5 or 6 weeks. So I don't know for certain what's going on. But why I'm looking at it is I'm going to just surmise that the COT data is roughly the same as it was 4 or 5 weeks ago. Maybe that's a little bit silly, but that's what I'm going to do. So if you look here, the bottom chart, at the commercials, then, and this red one here, the red is retailers, the blue's commercials. So I put the most weight on them two indicators. They're the ones I'm focusing on the most. So as you can see, the commercials are very bullish on sugar, or at least they were 4 or 5 weeks ago, and the retailers are really bearish. So in these scenarios, what I like to do is just, I'm going to side with the commercials and go against the retailers who tend to lose a lot. So looking at this, I'm looking to be bullish. From a valuation standpoint, I can use all three of these tools when it comes to cocoa. So I'm going to switch this now to the dollar index and gold. So valuation tool, we're not actually undervalued. We're around the mean, on the middle of the way. So if these were overvalued right now, I definitely wouldn't engage. But because they're around the mean, I can actually look past that, just because of the COT data is I would class as the most important part of commodities, the most important indicator. So I'm going to go with the COT data, even though it is blind. The valuation tool isn't quite, it's around the mean, we can live with that. But what I really like is the valuation. So when it comes to commodities, certain things like cocoa, coffee, cotton, if you can imagine, this crop certain time of the year, and it's just very seasonality based, a lot of them. So I do tend to look and put a lot of weight on the seasonality tool. So looking at this tool right now, the seasonality tool over the last 10 years, it's predicting that roughly on the 7th of November each year, we will start to see an upturn in price. And it estimates that will peak around the 19th of December. So according to this seasonality, we could be on for a nice little run for like the next 6 weeks or something like that. So I want to get involved in that. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. With the cocoa price chart on the weekly, that's not looking good, is it? That's a downtrend, and it's been downtrending since December last year, so nearly a year, yeah. So that's where it's tricky. I did have this zone marked out here though. That's a lovely zone, look at that. Now, I could have engaged once we come into this zone, but I decided, one thing I decided to just let this play out for a little bit, see what was happening, and then look at engaging. So I'm not trying to catch the absolute turn. I'm just kind of sit back, see what's happening, and then if I feel like there's an upturn, then I'm getting involved. So that's the weekly. But on the daily, I'm thinking now maybe this is it. Look, let me just fix this. So this is the original move into the sorry, this is the zone here, a new zone created on the daily. Whoops, wrong one. So what I'm thinking is, like, we got a low here, maybe a high low here, and what I'm thinking is this the new higher low? And if so, we got low, pivot, 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 and I'm hoping for a reaction of that zone. So I think, and look at this now, this candle, that's sort of looking bullish, isn't it? It's like, you know, we've got the sell off and then wham, bit of a reaction. So it's still early in the day anyway. That candle can change a lot, that can come down, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of pivot, pivot, pivot. So yeah, I'm really considering getting involved in cocoa. Yeah, that's just, this one's still a bit risky. It's clearly not in an uptrend, not just yet. On daily or weekly. Weekly's a clear downtrend. Daily, this comes up a little bit more, then yeah, you could maybe argue for it being a daily uptrend. So yeah, I really like the look of this, but it is risky. Look, with this, what's tricky about this is this zone here is supply zone. So if we come up here, we're getting stuck into this. We have to break this. There could be a reaction to the downside, but with the seasonality, with the COT data, I feel like, no, you know what, we could be on for it. We could be on for a potential real good move to the upside. So yeah, I mean, if we can break this zone here, got a little bit of a zone here. These aren't the best quality zones. This is quite good. This one here, we got an explosive candle downwards. But yeah, I mean, not the greatest zones in the world. If we can just break through that, we could be on for a run. Seasonality tool is predicting 19th of December. So yeah, that's me thought for the week. Let's just have a quick look at the currencies. I really want to along the US dollar. Most definitely. There's still room for the US dollar to run, in my opinion. I just need a pullback. Let's go on to the weekly. Right, with the euro. Let's have a look. I want to see the price pull back into this 4-hour zone here, and then I will check the valuation tool. I'm hoping to see something close to overvalued. If I come into this zone, and then that's it. I'm short on that. With the pound, a bit more tricky. Got a lot more movement needed to hit me marked out zone, so the pound's probably not gonna happen. The Aussie, I'm moving to. I'm not liking that Aussie no more. That's probably the end of that. Zone's very messy. Canadian dollar. The Canadian dollar looks good. The Canadian dollar looks good. So I've set up my zone here. I've set my alert to, this is on the future chart, 0.71850. If I can get a move into this zone here, then I will look at longer the USD Canadian dollar. The yen, no. The New Zealand dollar, no. What about the Swiss franc? Yeah, the franc's good, but again, there's a lot of, need to move a long way to reach that zone. So yeah, right now I'm looking at the euro, what was the other one, the Canadian dollar. So yeah, I'm just going to wrap that up now. Oh no, let's just go quickly over how I'm getting on currently with my two prop challenges. So this is on the 10k, the small account. I've just got the meter and the AT&T trade open. $200 a piece. AT&T slightly down. Meta, it's still early days, only opened it a few hours ago. Now, here we go. This is the 10k one, the 100k one. Sugar. It's not looking too good, is it? Let's have a look. I think that's, yeah, we're close to the break. The stop loss, 13.45 is the stop loss. Look at these candles. They're not filling me with any optimism. I'm expecting that to hit that stop loss sooner rather than later. Then we've got the AT&T. Look, that's going okay. I mean, slightly down. As you know, still early days. And Meta's actually slightly up. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up now because this video I'm waffling on a little bit. That's my weekly outlook. Things I'm looking at. These things can change. If through the week, if anything else pops up, there's big changes in the market, the charts, and I start casting my eye on anything else, I will do another little video. So yeah, peace out. If anybody does actually watch this, take it easy. All the best. Bye.